So we're going to look at the heavens, the glory of God. But first, let's take a look at the perspective of where we are. Okay? So this is the Earth. That's a beautiful Earth. That's the most beautiful planet in our solar system, isn't it? It's so wonderful. It's the only planet that we can survive in. It has the best mixture of hot, cold, and all those seasons and everything. And we have lush greens, and we have blue oceans, we have beautiful mountains, and so on. And we have a neighbor, which is Venus. Venus is going towards the sun. Next is Venus, and Venus is it's as big as the Earth, but there's not much in there. It's all just a big ball of fire or glob. And then we have Mercury, that's closest to the sun. And then there's Mars and there's Pluto. So relatively speaking, that's who we are in our neighborhood. But these are not the only planets in our neighborhood. Remember, there are many other planets in our neighborhood, right? You remember some of those? The science? All right, let's bring them up. There's Jupiter, there's Saturn, there's Uranus, there's Neptune, and now here's the Earth. Ano na daw? Ano na saman? And now the Earth seems to be, along with Venus and Mars, we seem like to be dwarfed by this huge planet, Jupiter. And proportionally, wow, we are so small compared to Jupiter. And Jupiter is just swinging around together with us around the sun. So this is where God placed us. This is our neighborhood. And we got some small brothers and big brothers, or somewhere in the middle. So kung maglinaway nila tanan, kitang referee. Okay? But God placed them there so wonderfully, and everything is so precise that our Earth turns exactly the number of turns and going around the sun, so that we can be enjoying life here as it is now. Isn't that amazing? So, and of course we want to look at that big player in the neighborhood, big boss, is the sun, isn't it? So let's bring the sun in. And this is the sun, and here comes Jupiter, and here comes Uranus and all the others. And look at the Earth now. It doesn't seem to be as significant anymore when this big guy comes in, which is the center of our solar system, which is the sun. It is a star, and it's one of the stars. And it's not the only thing that is here, because the sun is just one of the stars, and the sun also belongs to a neighborhood. Right? So we have the neighborhood of stars. So let's bring in some of the neighbors of the sun. Let's take a look at what they look like. Well, this is Betelgeuse, Antares, Aldebaran, Rigel, Arcturus, Pollux, Sirius, and then I don't know where the sun is. But it seems it says 1 pixel. You cannot even read 1 pixel. And Jupiter is invisible in this scale. I think the sun is already invisible in this scale. So we have stars in our neighborhood. And they are huge, bigger than our sun comparably, because our sun seems to be only be a pixel. They are huge. Don't ever go near them. No? You will disappear. So, where are all these stars? So we belong in this neighborhood of stars, and we are grouped together, and God placed us in this neighborhood of all the stars together, and you begin now to remember your science and where all these things are. And we belong to this neighborhood called the Milky Way galaxy. And this is a picture of the Milky Way as you go out at night. If you are living somewhere, nowhere, away from the city, somewhere out there, 10,000 kilometers away from any bright light, and you will be able to see these groupings. This is the Milky Way. When I was growing up, when we were living in the farm, and there was no city lights yet in any of the cities in Negros, you can see this bright streak of cloud of stars. And you know what? This casts a shadow on you at night. That is the light at night that God gave us. It casts a shadow. It's so bright. We're missing this out now, because we live in the city. We live in so many bright lights, and we cannot see anymore the wonderful, beautiful neighborhood of the Milky Way galaxy. This is how it looks like if we go out into space. Our Milky Way galaxy would look something like this. And our sun is somewhere towards the middle outer edge of this galaxy. This is where the sun hangs out, and there are stars and numbers of stars. According to the scientists, they have estimated anywhere from 100 to 200 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy. The moon, the stars, the light in the sky, the light in the night in the sky are for signs, seasons, days, and years. Okay? Verse that says, in the past, God spoke to our forefathers through the prophets, but I keep wondering what about at many times and in various ways. We know that in the last days, he spoke to us through his son, that is Jesus. So we have Jesus speaking to us now. But in the past, how did they hear? How did they know the gospel message? It was through the prophets and in many times in various ways. Though kung isa, wala ka na rin nabasa, no? But I begin to wonder always, all the time, when I read something like that, anong other times, anong other ways? Okay? Because it's placed there in the Word of God, so we need to look at that. Because it's not saying that only the prophets. We have the written book of the prophets in the Old Testament, but God also said that not only that, also in various ways. So how can the stars actually give information? Well, we know that names have meanings. That people in the past always give names with meanings. Subong na lang siguro ang names, the names you got, the meanings are no longer there. Because ngalan ni tatay sang sawa, ngalan sang tatay sang banat, tingbon. Si Juan Carlos. So Psalms 147 and Isaiah 40 says this about, he determined the number of stars and calls them each by name. When God gives a name to a star, God is not a God that just gives names, for the heck of a name. He gives names because there's meaning in the names. All right, so he determined the number of stars, and he also gave each one by name. Isaiah says, lift your eyes and look to the heavens. Who created all these? He who brings out the starry host one by one, the stars, and calls them each by name. Because of his great power and mighty strength, not one of them is missing. Again, how many stars did God give names? According to scientists, our galaxy is comprised of about 200 billion star tops. And our galaxies, the number of galaxies in the universe is 200 billion tops. So 200 billion times 200 billion, can you fit that in your calculator? Bitilawan ko na sa calculator ko. May lang ang calculator na mga Android and mga iOS. So it goes up to 9 digits, but it goes beyond 9 digits. It says 10 to the, gives you a number of zeros. So here's the number of stars that God gave names. 24 zeros. Beyond the trillions, beyond the quadrazillions, beyond whatever zillions, and he knows each one by name. 24 zeros. That is if it's only 100 billion and 100 billion galaxies. The bottom line. And not a single one of them is missing. Uy, di na to si Spike Kaman. Di na si Aldebaran. Di na si Sirius. Di na si Pollux. All the names of the stars. And he knows each one. Wow. That's beyond amazing, beyond great, beyond, you just have to just fall flat and just worship. So did God have the names of the stars written in written record? Amuna, ako niya pamangkot. Man may pagkakulit man ko. So, usisa. Nagsulat si God. Nga ning butang niya nga. Why would he name all the stars and then not give us a record of the names? You mean, pati yun talaga, we just believe that, that's all? Well, I started asking that question. I found this in the book of Jude. Enoch, the seventh from Adam, prophesied about them. See, the Lord is coming with thousands upon thousands of his holy ones to judge everyone, to convict all of them. Here's the prophecy of Enoch. Sino si Enoch na net? He was the seventh from Adam. Seven. So, apo sa apo, kag bata. And he prophesied. So, wait a minute. Jude is New Testament. And he read the prophecy of Enoch. Where did he get that? There must have been a written record of the prophecy of Enoch. Yes or no? Because he quoted it. So there must be a written prophecy of the prophecy of Enoch. lo and behold, okay, let me see where I go. There's the book of Enoch. It's not in the Bible, but here's the thing. It was found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, together with all the other finds of the Torah, of the Old Testament prophets, of the Bible. Together with that, the book of Enoch in the Dead Sea Scroll.